everyone, my name is Varsha and welcome to Study with Varsha. If you didn't subscribe my channel, go and do subscribe it because it will only, in this way only you can, what we can say, contribute me for my hard working and all these things. So today we are going to learn about AWS API Gateway. By the seeing the image itself, you people can understand. This is one of the most important services in AWS, especially when we work with serverless application and microservices. Think of API Gateway, okay? So as a front door, whenever your application, maybe a mobile app, a website, or even an IoT devices wants to talk to your backend, instead of directly calling to your server, the request files goes to through API gateway. So this service makes sure requests are handled securely, efficiently, and at scale. If this is hard to understand, you guys, in we can say that imagine you are building a mobile app for food delivery, okay? Like Swiggy, Zomato, something is there. Na? Your app need to talk to the backend to get restaurant details, place an order, make payments, and track delivery. Correct. So now, if the application directly connect to the backend services, so one of the orders, one of the payment, or one of the tracking things will become messy and very insecure. So that's where API gateway comes in. It gives us a single entry point to expose all our backend services securely. See, client doesn't talk directly to the backend. Instead, they send a request to the via API gateway and it manages everything behind the scene. So hope you understand the concept of API gateway, how it comes. Okay, one second. Yeah, so now see, come to the definition part and then I'll show you the practical part. So first thing is, what is API gateway? And we'll discuss deep dive. So in introduction itself, I told you by technically by taking a real-time example. So now come to the definitions. A fully managed services by AWS to create, publish, secure and manage APIs. See, think of it as a traffic manager, okay, security guard, or a translator for your backend services. Okay, so suppose they are backend. Okay, it acts like a what we can say reverse proxy, talking requests from the client, processing the team, and routing them to the right services. That will support three API types like REST API, HTTP API, and WebSocket API. Example analogy, if I'm talking like API gateway is like a receptionist in an office, and instead of letting visitors directly enter and disturb employees, the receptionist with what will do, it will check who is coming. It means authentication. And it will decide if they are allowed. For say, for example, in your office, you have ordered some food. Okay, and from Zomato itself and the delivery and you give your office address and the delivery boy came and if he is directly coming to your seat, is it a good thing? Is it not a security breach if some hackers will come then, if some kidnapper will come then? But if they will come to the what we can say receptionist, they will tell, okay, on the name of Varsha there is a order. Then receptionist will check, okay, Varsha is there in the office, then okay, Varsha is there. Then he will say, oh, then he will call me and he'll ask, Varsha, did you order something? I'll say yes. Then he will say, ask, payment done? I'll say yeah, payment done. Then he will say, your order is there. What I have to do? At that time, if I'll tell him, okay, take the order. When I'll come, I'll take. So who is coming in? So he'll ask, okay, suppose that person is not allowed to come inside. So he'll say, okay, keep the order here only and you can go. So that person is not authenticated. See, if my manager is there and he is sitting in some cabin and he suddenly come and he again he is coming and he is asking to the receptionist, Varsha came to the office. He'll say, yeah. And he'll say, go, sir. She is there. That is authenticated person, now. Yeah, he have authentication. He will come to me directly in the seat. So checks who is coming. So it will act as like API Gateway will work like a receptionist. I hope you understand. Now direct and now who is authorized? Decided if they are allowed. So for example, I was there who told, okay, I ordered the from Zomato, but I didn't ask them to come to my seat. So I didn't give them authorization also. Now for manager I can't tell. I tell, yeah, come, please. So I give him, I allowed him. So he is coming. Now come next thing, decide them to the correct department like routings. Okay. And keeps track of visitors, logging, monitoring, everything they will do. Now, see, this part I want to take this, it will take 2 to 3. In shorts only I'll explain what is logging. Because in interview, people also they will ask and people will get confused. What is logging in what we can say in the in Terraform term. So this questions came in like even I get this question when I like 2 3 years back and I get confused at that time. So I want to explain this thing. Okay. Now, how AWS API Gateway works. So, this thing we have to understand, okay? Huh. No, I'll make it as a subheading. It is section. Subsection. I'm making as a body itself, fine. So, how API Gateway works. So, that we will see step by step. See, initially only I gave you a very real time example, so I don't think that you people are getting any what we can say unnecessary disturbance you people have. But even though if you are getting any confusion and if any point of time if people are not understanding, do comment in the comment box in YouTube, and whenever I'll check the comment, I'll try to give you the response you the solution. And even if it is I'm not getting uh, for sure, if even though if you're not understanding, for sure I'll make a short video on that topic for sure. So please do subscribe and do comment if you have any confusion. Now we have to see how API Gateway works. So client make request. Suppose you have a mobile application. Okay, so app request get ordered. Okay, and now API Gateway endpoint receives receives the request. So API Gateway what will do? It applies some rules. How? Authentication. Is the caller allowed? See, if you have observed that if some call is coming, it in red it is there, and if some call is coming, it automatically get blocked from our mobile. So when our phone will automatically detect, okay, this is spam, so it make it a block. And if it is allowed, so we can check, okay, is the caller allowed? Okay, so that is authentication. I'm sorry. Uh, Throttling. What it means? Like how many requests per second allowed? See, we are getting a call. I don't think we are getting one call at 1 second at two call. No. If someone is calling that will show busy. So that will be some 2 to 3 seconds. I'm not sure right now, but 2 to 3 seconds only we are allowed to get a call. So in the same way, in API gateway, it is there that how many calls are allowed per second. That is nothing but throttling. Now transformation, convert request to match backend. If some request came, so it will convert and it will have to make from backend format and forward request to backend services. So, and that backend will be could be a lambda function that is serverless. Okay, could be an EC2 instance that is traditional server. Could be a DynamoDB query like that will be DynamoDB is nothing but database query, and could even be a external HTTP service. So backend process and sends response. So what happened exactly? API gateway again process response, transform and filter cache. I'll cover the topic cache also. Response sent back to the client. What happened? The client knows API gateway and backend services remain hidden and secure. See, you people will think that she is reading and just explaining. So no, this is my handwritten notes. If you will go and Google it, you will not get in this kind of thing. And this is not by something where I'm getting from the chat GPT and all. No, yeah, for formatting, I did convert in the chat GPT, but this is my own handwritten notes. That's why I'm just explaining like that, and so that it is very plain English, so that you everyone can understand. Now, why use AWS API Gateway? That is very real, Sinor. Why we use? So, up to now only you can understand, but even though I'm going to explain it, see, first thing is security. I gave you the example of when I ordered from Zomato and that gate picker only. So he is like gatekeeper is nothing but he is working like a security in the same way that API gateway will work. Don't expose backend directly. Use IAM, Cognito, or API keys. How, like, see, if you are booking Ola cab or like some Rapido cab, so whenever they are calling, so we are not getting their real exact number, and they are also not getting our real exact number. So how it works? That is only API gateway, because that is our privacy. So here our privacy is secure, because if our directly number will go to them, they will blackmail and do anything. So to avoid this thing, that is why we are not, like, people are not able to see our number. So security is there now. So that is only security. Now scalability. So that scalability means it handles millions of requests without manual server scaling. See, if you are going to scale the server manually, it will cost, it will like needs a lot of people. It means we have to give them all the people a salary. That is very costly. And it is very hard to scale the things. But with the help of API gateway, it will be very easy for us to scale the things, even millions of requests at without manual scaling. See how big thing is that. And third is monitoring. So it will be directly integrated that API gateways CloudWatch for metrics. Okay, that latency, error, request count. And this CloudWatch, if we'll configure this with Grafana, then that Grafana will give us a dashboard, and without like watching a separate thing, directly you can go and see. So see, what's the use of API gateway? It is helping in monitoring also, and cost saving. Obviously, cost saving, because here we have to pay only for the request server. No infrastructure overhead. No need to give money to the, like, there is no separate team to manage or scale the things. So we no need to pay. So anyhow, it is very cost saving and flexible also. Like, it can connect multiple types of backend, because it supports Lambda, EC2, database, third party APIs, anything. And centralized entry point, like one gateway for all the microservices. Now, the question come in our mind is, what is types of API gateway? Because when we discussed about S3 buckets, so we discussed the different kinds of S3 buckets and features. Now the question is types of APIs in APIs gateway. So first, we know all REST API. So what is that? It is rich feature set like caching, transformation, request validation. So when we use, so when used more controls, like exposing multiple resources, users, orders, and payment, that time we will use REST API. Now HTTP API. Okay, so that is very lightweight, fasting, faster, cheaper than REST API, and used for simple use cases. A simple GET API for health checks or basic microservices call, like uh, monitoring it all we do use. Now third is WebSocket API. So what it will do? It will enable two-way real-time communication. Like chat application, in WhatsApp you are chatting, two-way is there, na? gaming application, stock price updates, and it will have detailed feature of API gateway, and it have authentication, authorization, and it even support AMI also. See, and support Cognito also, and APIs keys, custom authorization, throttling. I told you, na throttling and quotas. So prevents misuse by limiting request per second. Example, only allow 100 requests second per users. And caching, like store API response temporarily, faster response lesser. Monitoring also, I told you, like via CloudWatch monitors by latency. That we'll discuss. CloudTrail for auditing APIs. Stays and versioning that I all stays and versioning that deploy API in the stage like dev, test, prod, and version control is it is also there. So if you'll take see that we have discussed here, I have just written. Let's explain the earlier story. Yeah, see. mm, A user logs in API gateway, uses Cognito to authentication, use browser. This I already explained, but here I have given example. API gateway is the brain of all communication, ensures security, scalability, and reliability. So now come to the benefits of API gateway. So scalability, no need to provision server. AWS scales automatically. Security, multiple authentication options, prevent direct backend exposure. Performance, without caching enable response time improve. Cost effective, pay only for what you use. Flexibility, works with Lambda EC2. Centralized management, one place to monitor. And now that part we discussed. So once again, give me a second. So now we are going to wrap up. But before that, see the diagram. This diagram also I'll upload if people are will ask us. See, this is the client mobile application. Okay, that is IoT. It will go to the API gateway. Then it have a features inside API gateway, authentication, throttling, caching, response, monitoring. That will be Lambda, EC2, DynamoDB external and response. So this is the diagram also explained. Now, so to wrap up it, we can say like AWS API Gateway is not just about connecting clients to the backends. What we can say, it's about managing the complete API lifecycle from authentication, scaling, monitoring, caching to deployment. And if you are working with serverless applications, mobile backend, or microservices, API Gateway becomes your go to the subline in AWS. So this is the detailed way I explained. I tried to explain. Hope you understand the concept. Hope you like it. If you like it, do like it as a comment it, subscribe it my channel, because in this way only you can what we can say contribute to me. Even I'm trying to help you all. So thank you for watching Study with Varsha. Have a nice day.